Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I am going to provide the answer of the weekly challenge which I have posted this week. In case you were able to successfully complete the challenge and you have shared me the answer, congratulations for adding something on your skill. In case you were not able to complete the solution and you are still looking for the answer, you are in the correct video. In this video, I am going to code this problem statement in a step-by-step manner. So, in case you are struggling, you can watch this video and you will get the solution for the problem statement. In case you are coming to the channel for the first time and you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to get the next videos in this series. Okay, so for this week we had a quiz. So in case you guys were able to participate, congratulations. I hope that you have found that quiz insightful. I would appreciate your feedback on the quiz. In case you are not able to participate, so the quiz is no more available. The quiz is already stopped. However, in this video, you can also play along with me. And in case you have already played, I am going to share you the correct answer, right? So it's for both the audience who have already participated in the quiz. They can watch this video to get the correct answer. In case you were not able to participate, you can play along with me. The only caveat would be that this time you would not get any gift or any prize. However, you can assess yourself and just comment down your answers. Okay. If I talk about the format, so this time there would be 35 questions. These are the same 35 questions which we had in our quiz. You will get 5 seconds to answer each of the questions. Once I successfully complete the question, you would have 5 seconds to answer the question. Okay, and you would see this kind of line going through the screen. Once that line is completed, the correct answer for the question would be displayed on the screen. So as an audience, I would expect you to just comment down your answer or the total score in the comments. Okay, so all the best for the quiz, and let's get started by having the first question. What does RPA stand for? So you have to tell me, what does the word RPA stand for? Is it option A, robotic process automation, option B, robust process automation, option C, real-time process automation, or option D, repetitive process automation? Okay, so your 5 seconds starts now. Let's see the correct answer. I hope you are able to guess it. And the correct answer is robotic process automation. Okay, so now you have to just keep counting your score. So if you have answered it correctly, you have score of 1. So I would expect that you are not doing any cheating here. Okay, now this is the second question. Which type of automation is RPA best suited for? So I have different kind of processes which are available. Which kind of automation is RPA best suited for? Only complex decision making task, human resource management, HR, creative and innovative task, or option D, highly repetitive and rule based task. RPA is best suited for. Okay, you have 5 seconds now, and the correct answer is highly repetitive and rule based task, because these are the software robots. So whatever task is happening on repetitive and it is rule based, which means that the rules are fixed, predefined, that is the best candidate for doing the RPA automation. Now, can we also automate A, B and C? The answer is yes. But if I have to talk about what is the best suited would be always the highly repetitive and the rule based task. Okay. Here comes question number 3. Which UiPath component is used to schedule and manage the automation? So once I have done the automation, how would I schedule or how would I manage it? Am I going to use option A, UiPath Robot, option B, UiPath Scheduler, option C, UiPath Studio, or option D, UiPath Orchestrator? Which is the component which is going to use to schedule and manage the automation? And your time starts now. Okay. So we'll just wait for the correct answer. and that is UiPath Orchestrator, right? Orchestrator is a one-stop solution for managing your entire robotics fleet, including the scheduling and the managing of the automations. Okay, moving ahead, what is a workflow in RPA development? So whenever we talk about workflow, what exactly is that, right? Is it a series of document? Okay, option B, is it a flowchart used for documentation? Option C, is it a sequence of tasks or activities? Or option D, it is the type of robot used in RPA. Okay, what exactly is a workflow? Let's see the correct answer for the workflow. And a workflow is a sequence of tasks or activities. Whenever we talk about UiPath, we have sequence, we have flowchart, we have state machine, we have global exception handler. All of these are different kind of workflows, which means that I can use a workflow to automate a sequence of tasks or activities, right? So the correct answer is option number C. Number 5. What does the term unattended robot means in UiPath? Okay, whenever we say that, hey, I am using an unattended robot, what do you mean by that? Option A, robot that works only during the business hours. Option number B, robot that does not require any human intervention. Option number C, robot that works with unstructured data. Or option number D, robot that requires human intervention. Okay, so what is an unattended robot? So I hope you got the answer, and the correct answer is robot that does not require human intervention, because if a robot requires human intervention, that is an attended robot. Robot that works only in business hours, it can be attended, it can be unattended, right? Robots can work 24/7. And robot that works with unstructured data, robots has the capability to work with both structure as well as unstructured data, right? So both the robots, attended, unattended, can work with any kind of data, right? So the correct answer for this question would be that does not require human intervention. Okay, let's move ahead, and I hope guys you are calculating your score. So this is question number 6 now. Which of the following is not a feature of UiPath Orchestrator, right? Is not a feature. Scheduling the automations, assets management, log file analysis, or designing of the automation. We just have to see which is not a feature of UiPath Orchestrator. And the correct answer is option number D, designing the automation. Because designing of the automation is done in UiPath Studio, right? Scheduling, asset management, log file analysis, everything is done in the UiPath Orchestrator. You cannot design the automation. Okay, let's move to the next question now. What is the purpose of queues in UiPath Orchestrator? Why should a developer use UiPath Orchestrator queues, right? Option A, storing the robot credential. Option number B, managing the transaction. Option number C, managing the software license. Or option number D, managing the assets. Okay, and the correct answer is managing the transaction for the automations. Whenever we are using UiPath Orchestrator queues, we are adding data to the queue. That data is called transactions. So whenever we talk about transactional management processing using the robotics enterprise framework, we are talking about UiPath queues. Credential, software license, managing assets is also a part of Orchestrator, but that is not done with the help of queues, right? Let's move to the next question. The next question is, what is the extension when the code is published to the Orchestrator from Studio? Okay, so I have done the development and I hit on publish. When the code goes to the Orchestrator, in what format it is? NuGet, zip, exe, or .pckg, right? What format is published to the Orchestrator? And the correct answer is NUPKG, also known as the NuGet package. Okay, so whenever we publish, we are sending a NuGet package to the Orchestrator. Next question on the orchestrator is recommended way to trigger a robot in UiPath Orchestrator. Okay, I have to trigger an automation in UiPath Orchestrator. What should I do? Should I use the Windows task scheduler? Okay, should I email the robot instruction? Option number C, manually go to the robot and run it from the desktop. Or option number D, schedule a job in Orchestrator. Right? Let's see the correct answer. And the correct answer would be schedule a job in the orchestrator, right? Because that is what orchestrator is used for, right? So recommended way to trigger a robot job execution in orchestrator would be to schedule a job. Okay, let's move to the next question now. And this is about the queue, right? Queue property is to ensure that no duplicate items are added to the queue. So I have made a queue and I want to make sure that duplicate items should not be added to the queue, such as an employee queue, right? No two employees can have the same email ID. So I want to make a queue where there are no duplicate items. Which property of the queue I should use? Reference, deadline, priority, or history? Okay. So if I want to have no duplicate transaction, I need to have something which is called unique reference, right? So unique reference is a property in the queue. If we enable that, no duplicates item can be added to your queue. Okay, so the correct answer is option number A. We are done with 10 set of questions, and I hope you guys are managing your scores, right, and without any cheating, right? Because I won't be able to validate, but you have to validate yourself and let me know your scores at the end. Okay, here comes question number 11. Status of the queue item when processed by the get transaction item. Okay, so I have code. In the code I have an activity which is called get transaction item, which is used to read the queue item. So when I read, what would the status change to? In process, processed, new, or retried, right? Get transaction item activity, if it read, what would be the status? The status would be in progress. Why? Because whenever we add data to the first time to the queue, the status is to set to new. As soon as the robot reads the transaction from the queue, the status is changed to in progress, right? So the correct answer is option number A. Okay, question number 12. What happens to the item which remained in progress for a long period, approximately 24 hours, without being processed? Okay, so there was a queue. We read it with the get transaction. It is in progress. Now it is neither successful nor failed, right? What happens to those? Would it be option A, failed, option B, abandoned, option C, retried, or it would be deleted, right? What happens to those items in the queue, right? What would be the status? So after the stipulated time, it would be marked as abandoned, right? So the items which are still in progress after 24 hours, they are marked to abandoned. Okay, now comes question number 13. All assets type are encrypted in the orchestrator database by default, right? So we have boolean, we have text kind of assets, we have credential assets, we have integer assets, right? So is it true that all the assets are encrypted, or is it false, right? You have 5 seconds to answer, and the correct answer is true. Not only credential, all the assets types are encrypted in the orchestrator database by default. Okay, next is the question number 14. Which is not an option while creating a time trigger, right? I am creating a time trigger where I am scheduling an automation. Time trigger is same like setting an alarm, right? So do I need minutes, weekly, daily, or yearly, right? So which is not an option, and the correct answer is yearly. You have minutes, you have hourly, you have daily, okay, but you do not have something which is called yearly, right? And you also has an option which is called advanced scheduling, known as the cron expressions. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is number D. Question number 15, and this would be the last question on the orchestrator. what does the below red highlighted indicates in the process tab, right? So this is a screenshot of the process tab, and you can see there is something which is highlighted in the red. What does this mean, right? If you go to the orchestrator and you see this, what would you infer from this? Option A, this is an unattended robot. Option B, this process is of low priority. Option C, new updates are available to the process. And option D, the process is of high priority. What would you infer from this symbol, right? I hope you have got the answer, and the correct answer is new updates are available to the process. It simply means that as of now, Orchestrator is running this Acme linear process in a version of 1.0.10. Some developer has updated it to a new version 1.0.10, 11, 12, 13, 15. But Orchestrator is telling you I am still running at the old version. There is a new version of the packet which is available. Now Orchestrator automatically does not upgrade it to the latest version. You have to go and upgrade it, right? But Orchestrator, whenever you are going to the process, it will indicate that hey, somebody has uploaded a new version, so do you want to run it or you don't want to run it, right? That decision strictly lies with the developers, right, or the people who are managing the orchestrator, right? So this symbol indicates that new updates are available to the process. Okay, so we are done with 15 questions, right? Before I move to the next set of questions, all these questions were on orchestrator, and in case you are new to orchestrator and you do not understand orchestrator, I have one dedicated paid course which is available on Graphy by an Academy, where I have covered all of these topics in a step-by-step manner, right? So you can go ahead and check out the course. You can check out the description. If you feel that yes, this is something you are looking for, go ahead and purchase that course. And as of now, we are also giving some of the discount which you will directly get in the website. Okay, so that was about the orchestrator course. You would find the link in the description. Cool. So 15 questions done. I hope you guys are noting down your score. Next comes a section of the RE framework. Okay, RE framework or robotics enterprise framework is built on what concepts? Is it built on concept of sequence, flowchart, state machine, or repetitive process automation? What is the concept which it is built on, right? So RE framework, also known as robotic enterprise framework, is built on the concept of state machines, right? Next is question number 17, output of the config file in RE framework. Whenever I am reading a configuration file in RE framework, what do I get? Do I get a list of string and string? Do I get a list of string and object? Do I get a dictionary of string and string, or do I get a dictionary of string and object, right? Most of the people have answered this question incorrect, and the correct answer is option number D, which is the dictionary of string and object, right? So whenever we read config in UiPath robotics enterprise framework, we get something which is called dictionary of string and object. Okay, the next question is default transaction item in RE framework. Whenever I create a new robotics enterprise framework, what is the transaction item? Is it data row? Is it string? Is it object? Or it is queue item, right? So I created a new robotics enterprise framework. I go to the transaction item and I need to check what exactly is the transaction item. What it would be, A, B, C, or D. And the correct answer is option number D, which is called queue item. Whenever we create a new robotics enterprise framework, we always get something which is called transaction item, and that is nothing but queue item. So let's move to question number 19 now. Which state in default RE framework throws a business rule exception? Okay, so we have to tell that which state in RE framework is throwing business rule exception. Default, right? As a developer, you can code to throw business exception from any state. But if I create a default RE framework which is throwing a business rule exception, is it all the state, only the init and the process? Option C, only the process, or option D, the end state, right? And the correct answer is only the process transaction, right? Because process transaction is where we are writing the business logic, right? So where I would be writing the business logic? In the default RE framework, in the process transaction. And since I am writing my business logic in the process transaction, this is the place where I will generate a business rule exception. Moving ahead, question number 20 is, we can use REFramework with Excel as a transaction data. Is this statement correct or is this statement false, right? So you have to tell whether REFramework can be used with any other transaction data such as Excel. You have 5 seconds to answer, and the answer is true, right? We can customize REFramework to work with any of the transaction item. It can be list of string, it can be Excel, it can be data table, anything, right? All you have to do is just convert your robotics enterprise framework to anything, even linear process. I have a dedicated playlist on REFramework where we have done all of this in a step-by-step manner. The link to the playlist is available in the description. Okay. Moving ahead, the next question is 21. So in case I create a new REFramework, how many states I have? 1, 2, 3 or 4, right? Just now we had a question that REFramework is built on the concept of state machines. Now how many state machines we can have? Okay, let's see the correct answer. And the correct answer is 4. So by default, whenever we create a REFramework, we are getting 4 states, right? And these 4 states are nothing but state machines. Okay, so the next question is the default value of transaction number in REFramework. What is the default value of transaction number in REFramework? Is it 0, 1, 2 or 3? Okay, so REFramework has something which is called transaction number that gets incremented, and the default value of the transaction number is set to 1. This is the number which is responsible for incrementing the transactions and get the new item either from the queue, from the Excel, from the data table. It has a default value of 1. You will find that in the get transaction data. Okay. Now, question number 23. In the get transaction state, okay, I am in the REFramework in the get transaction state. If there are no transaction items remaining, what happens to this variable which is out transaction item, right? How does REFramework know that there are no more transaction? Is it by setting it to in progress? Is it by setting it to new? Is it by setting it to null, or is it by setting it to nothing? Okay, so I hope you got the answer that what would be the status for out transaction item, and it is set to nothing, right? Out transaction item is set to nothing, which simply means that REFramework knows that yes, there are no more transactions. This can happen in 2 scenarios. Either the transactions are complete, or somebody just clicked on the stop button, which is should stop from the orchestrator, then also the item is set to nothing, and REFramework thinks that yes, there are no more transactions. So the correct answer for question number 23 is option D. Okay, REFramework has different XAML, which XAML is responsible for creating all the necessary procedure for ending the process, such as log out, closing of all the application, right? Which is the XAML? Is it get transaction data? Is it close all application? It is process XAML, or it is kill all process, right? So REFramework has different XAML, and the XAML which actually take care of the log out, closing, everything, it is close all applications, right? You have kill all application, but that is not logging out, that is a hard kill, right? And when we say log out, soft kill, close of the application, all of that is done with this XAML which is called close all applications. Okay, next coming is question number 25. Okay, REFramework works on the concept of configurability. So we have something which is called config file, dictionary of string and object. Now you have to tell me in which state we are reading the config file. Is it init, get transaction, process, or load configuration, right? So which state of REFramework we are actually reading the config file? And the correct answer is initialization. So we read configuration file in the init status, that initialization, that is the first stage of RE framework. We read it and the object is passed to the complete RE framework. Okay, so these were the questions which were all about robotics enterprise framework. In case you guys are absolute beginner and you have no idea, we have a dedicated playlist both in Hindi and English where we are covering robotics enterprise framework in a step-by-step manner. Also, I have created all these projects for you to practice. All these projects are step-by-step implementation of RE framework, right? All the links, everything is available in the description. Okay, so the next question now. An XML fragment that stores the attributes of the user interface element. What is the thing which is an XML fragment and that store the attribute of user interface? Is it called an anchor, selector, attribute, or wildcards? And the correct answer is selectors, right? So whenever we talk about user interface automation, which is also known as UI automation, UiPath Studio automatically generates something which is called XML fragments, and in UiPath these XML fragments is known as selectors. Okay, now coming up next is the 27th question. To simulate the human actions, okay, which is again UI automation, a pair of elements are identified, which is a target and an anchor. So if I collect together a target and an anchor on top of it, what do I call that pair? Is it a modern selector? Is it an anchor pair? Is it a target, or is it a descriptors? Okay, what do you call a target plus anchor together? And the correct answer is descriptor, which is a feature, or I would say which is a property of modern design experiences. We have two design, classic versus modern. In modern we have something which is called descriptor, which is nothing but target plus anchor. Okay, dedicated playlist explaining the modern design experiences versus classic is available on the channel, right? You will again find all the links in the description. Question number 28. Only output methods that can work with virtual environments with reading text from images. Should I use full text, OCR, native, or the APIs? Okay, it's called OCR, also known as optical character recognition, which gives capability to the UiPath robot to read the data from the images. Okay, and you have different kind of OCRs available in UiPath, right? So the correct answer is option B, which is called OCR. Moving ahead to question number 29. Classic activities can be used in modern project. Is this statement true or is this statement false? Can we use classic activity in modern projects? And the correct answer is yes. We can use classic activity in modern projects, and we can use modern activity in classic projects as well, right? How and where? You would find the complete details in the modern playlist in description. 30th question. Equivalent activity to classic send hotkey in modern design. Okay, so as we have discussed, we have two type of designs, classic and modern. In classic you have an activity which is called send hotkey. If I have to do send hotkey in modern design, which option I will use? Keyboard shortcuts, send shortcut, hotkeys, or keyboard shortcuts, right? So what is the equivalent of send hotkey? And that is called the keyboard shortcuts, right? Keyboard shortcut is an activity of modern folders which you just drag and drop, and you can do the same equivalent of send hotkey. I hope you guys are taking count of your score. Okay, so 31 question is one-stop shop for managing all the resources from variables, arguments, assets, queues, everything, right? What is that shop which is responsible for managing everything in UiPath Studio? Is it data manager, data services, orchestrator, or object repository? Okay, so the one-stop shop for managing all the resources during a development is called data manager, right? Update of 2022.10 version. Okay, we can create bulk variables, but we cannot create bulk arguments. Okay, so with the new update in UiPath Studio, we have an option to bulk create variables, right? Where you can create variables at a single time. But this statement says that we cannot create bulk arguments. Is this true or is it false? Right? So the correct answer for this question is it's false. In the latest version of UiPath Studio, you have an option to create the bulk variables as well as you can create the bulk arguments, right? Again, a feature of Data Manager 2022.10 version. Okay, so this is interesting. What can be edited for a global variable? Okay, I have created a global variable and now I am using it across my automation. What is the thing which I can change? So once I have defined a global variable, I can only change its value. You cannot change the name, you cannot change the type, and scope definitely is global, right? Only thing you can change is the value. Okay, moving to the next question. 34th, what enables you to define fixed value that do not change during the project execution? So I have to create an value which I want to be fixed across the automation. What it is called? Fixed values, global variables, static values, or constants. Okay, such as the name of the company, right? If I want to store something in the name of a company, where should I store? And the answer is constants, right? Constant is a concept in UiPath where you can create a constant, it will store the value, and no variable, no process, no automation would be able to change that value, kind of a fixed value, right? So the correct answer is constants. Again, an update in the UiPath Studio. Before I jump to the next question, which is question number 35, I want you guys to just comment your feedback. If you have your score, please do comment your score. If you don't have your score, just comment how do you like this quiz. Okay. So here is the last question. Coded automation. What does the coded automation do? It creates reusable flow, it simplifies the developer collaboration, it accelerates the automation migration, or all of above, right? So coded automation also is a new feature in UiPath update, and with coded automation you can do all of these things which is mentioned. Okay, so coded automation is also a new feature in UiPath. So the last 5 questions which I have asked you are on the new product updates of UiPath. Whenever you are working as an RPA developer, it is important to stay tuned to the latest updates, latest product roadmaps of UiPath, right? So I have a dedicated playlist where I have covered all the major updates whichever we have discussed in this playlist, right? Link of this update playlist is also available in the description. Okay, so that was the last question for this quiz. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. If you have any more questions, any more doubts, let me know in the comments. If you have your score, comment down your score. If you have any feedback, feel free to share your feedback as well. Also, please let me know what do you like to see next in the quiz or in the weekly challenge series of UiPath. Okay, so that is all for this video. I would like to wrap this video here. I hope this was insightful. If you have any more questions, any more doubts, feel free to write me in the comments, or you can also drop me an email as well. I would appreciate your feedback on the video, and tell me in the comments what would be the next topic or next video you want to see. So with that, I would wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and happy automation.